I let my dog in through the front door at exactly 9:15 p.m, like I always do. Shadow, my black lab, had been outside for his usual evening bathroom break. He trotted in, tail wagging, happy as ever. I locked the door behind him and went back to the couch. 5 minutes later, there was a scratching at the back door. My heart jumped. Shadow was curled up on the rug beside me, already dozing off. I turned my head toward the noise, confused. Another scratch. Then a whimper. I stood up, moving toward the glass sliding door. The backyard light was dim, but I could still make out the shape on the other side of the glass. My stomach dropped. It was Shadow. Same black fur, same deep brown eyes, same familiar stance, waiting patiently for me to let him in. But that was impossible. Shadow was inside, his chest rising and falling as he slept. I didn't move. I just stood there, staring at the thing outside. It cocked its head, then let out a small, whining sound, just like Shadow did when he wanted to be let in. My hands felt clammy. I took a step closer. The second I moved, it changed. Its posture stiffened and I could hear its breathing, too deep, too deliberate. It wasn't normal. My real dog never breathed like that. Then it smiled. Not a dog's smile, not the way Shadow's lips sometimes curled up when he was excited. This was different, wrong. Its mouth stretched too wide, showing too many teeth, human-like teeth. A chill ran down my spine. "You're not my dog," I whispered. The thing outside stopped smiling. It stood still for a moment, just watching me. Then, slowly, it lifted a paw, pressing it against the glass. A paw that had fingers where the claws should be. I backed away. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Shadow lifted his head from the rug, ears perked up. He stared at the door, then let out a low, rumbling growl. I'd never heard him make that sound before. The thing outside growled back, but it wasn't a dog's growl. It was deeper, layered, like multiple voices speaking at once. Then it spoke. "Let me in." The voice was wet, garbled, like it wasn't used to speaking human words, but it sounded almost exactly like me. I ran. I grabbed Shadow and bolted for my bedroom, locking the door behind us. For the next hour, I sat there, heart hammering, Shadow pressed against my side, both of us listening to the slow, deliberate scratching at the glass. Eventually it stopped. The next morning I checked the backyard. There were no footprints, no signs that anything had been there at all. But Shadow refused to go outside that night. And at exactly 9:15 p.m. I heard the scratching again. I didn't move. I just sat there on the couch, frozen, staring at the back door. The scratching came again, slow, deliberate, like nails dragging across the glass. Shadow was beside me, ears flattened, body tense. He let out a low whimper, pressing against my leg. He was afraid. My dog was afraid. And that terrified me more than anything. I glanced at the clock. 9:16 p.m. 1 minute past the time I usually let him in. Was this thing out there learning my routine? Then the voice came again. "Let me in." I clenched my jaw. Number, I wasn't falling for this. But then it spoke again, and this time it used my mum's voice. I hadn't heard her in years, not since she passed. But there it was, clear as day just beyond the door, soft, gentle. "Sweetheart, open the door. please. My throat tightened. It wasn't her. I knew it wasn't her. But my hands shook anyway. Then the thing outside started knocking. 3 slow knocks, just like my mum used to do when she visited. I squeezed my eyes shut. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. The knocking stopped. Then the sound of something scraping against the glass. Not nails, not paws, something harder. Bone. And then the door unlocked. A sharp click, my breath caught in my throat. I hadn't touched it. Shadow barked, a deep, snarling sound I had never heard from him before. His fur bristled as he stood between me and the door, teeth bared. I couldn't move. The handle started to turn. I reacted without thinking, lunging forward and slamming the lock back into place, just as the door cracked open an inch. A terrible shriek filled the room. Something wrong, something inhuman. The thing outside slammed against the glass, rattling the whole door frame. Then silence. I stood there, panting, hands still gripping the lock. Shadow growled low, his body still tense. But after a few minutes, he relaxed. The thing was gone. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I checked the backyard again. Nothing. No footprints. No scratches on the glass. Like nothing had ever been there. But I knew better. That night, I nailed the back door shut. And the next night. And the night after that. It's been a week. Shadow still won't go near the back door. And every night at 9:15 p.m. I hear it. Scratching and knocking. And now, it doesn't just sound like my mom. It sounds like me.